after the last video I did featuring the little gutter vac, I found out they were no longer supplying it. Well, there's a number of reasons why, but one of the main reasons is because they've replaced it with something even better. So I've had a parcel in the post this week, and it is the new Panther for gutter vac systems. Now, very kindly, they've sent me this. I haven't spent anything on it out of my own money. They have sent me this free of charge, just to make things clear. So let's have a look at it. In the box, you've got your instructions. Everybody reads them, I'm sure. You've got your vac itself. Now, on first look at the vac, you can tell it's a really well made machine. Still nice and light, hardly anything to it. It's only an extra kilogram to the old machine. But that drum there is absolutely solid. I can't believe how sturdy that feels. It's a single motor on this rather than its big brother the Predator. And this is a 1400 watt motor, so that is actually an extra 100 watts to the last little one I did. The Panther also sits on a steel frame with 4 casters on it, which is much nicer than the plastic wheels. It seems a lot more sturdy than the plastic wheels of the old vac they did. The Panther is available with a 51mm side cyclonic inlet, and it's also available with a 38mm straight in inlet. Obviously the 51mm with the bigger diameter and the bigger hoses is going to be a lot better than the 38mm, but the 38mm is there as a budget option as well if that's something you're interested in. It comes with your cable hook and your cable arm. That's quite nice. Seems nice and sturdy there. So let's have a look inside. Just before we do, they seem to have really beefed out the clamps on the sides as well. Those seem really nice and chunky. So if we take it off and lift it out, the first thing you'll notice is the filter. This has got the basket filter that's very similar to the Predator. So to take that off, all you do, twist the basket and it pulls off. You've then got your HEPA filter on the inside there as well. Also, if you look inside, you've got your traditional basket filter, which anybody that's been doing gutter vacs for a while will recognise. Inside there's also 5 metres of suction hose. So the filter itself, the HEPA filter, if you're new to this, you'll just unscrew the thread on the end of it and that will come off. Inside then you've got your cloth filter, your sponge filter. Now, when do you use all the different filters and how do you clean them? Well, the sponge filter, you use that if it's really, really wet. That's the only one you need to use. It's got a float inside, a float valve inside, so if the water level does come up, it cuts the motor off, it blocks the airflow off to the motor so you don't ruin the motor with the water. So you can be safe there to use it. It is a genuine wet and dry vac. So very wet weather, use the blue filter. Very dry weather, use the HEPA filter. The reason for the HEPA filter is to cut out all the dust that is coming, and it will stop that. If you let that dust go in, it will ruin your motor. So in very dry weather where you've got very dusty gutters, use your HEPA filter. If you've got sort of soggy gutters but not holding loads of water, you can just use your basket filter. You can use all 3 if you want. Well, you don't have to use any if you want, but if you don't, you'll ruin your motor. So when you put it back together, make sure that that thread is screwed in. If not, then the basket won't fit on and lock into place. So how do you clean the different filters? Well, the sponge filter, you can give a rinse out with some mould detergent. That's just got an elastic fitting around the top just to hold it into place. The basket filter, you can use mould detergent on that and a hose pipe and just give that a bit of a wash off with a hose pipe. Be gentle with it, but you can wash it off. The HEPA filter, the best way of cleaning that is with a soft brush. Just give it a brush off with a soft brush and that should do the job of that. You can clean it with a hose pipe. Don't use a pressure washer, just use a hose pipe on it. But if you do, make sure that it's dried before you use it again. And that's how you look after your filters. So we'll put that back in there. So what are the different specifications between this and the last gutter vacuum that I did, the last domestic gutter vacuum I did in the last video? Well, as I said, this one is a 1400 watt motor. The last one was a 1300 watt motor, so you've got an extra 100 watts there. The Gutter Vac Compact was a 3,333 litres per minute airflow, and this one is 3,540 litres per minute. Now that is when it's just got the straight inlet. With the cyclonic inlet, that increases, and I think on a recent post from Gutter Vacuum Systems, I think they said that took that up to 6,000 litres per minute. The height of the last one was 84 centimetres, the height of this one is 75 centimetres. The weight of the last one was 11 kilograms and this one is 12 kilograms, so very slightly heavier. And the other thing that you might find interesting is the noise. The last one was 70 decibels, this one is 60 decibels, so it runs quieter than the last one as well. So now we've had a quick look at the specifications and the filters. Let's take it outside, let's set up a stunt gutter and see how well it actually sucks. So we've got our stunt gutter set up here with dry peat in it, just to have a bit of a comparison from the last video I did. As it's very dry and dusty, I've got it set up with a HEPA filter and the blue sponge filter. So let's give it a suck and see how it gets on. As you can see, there was no problem at all. Sucked that out. I didn't think there was going to be any problem, but it sucked that out really easily. So let's load it up with some leaves and see how it goes with that. So I've loaded it up with leaves. These are actually out of a grapevine that's grown in our garden, and there's some quite big leaves in that and a few lumps and bits and pieces as well. So let's give it a try and see how it goes. So you can see, no problem there at all. That just sucked those out really easily. So what I'm going to do now, because I haven't got any pine needles this time, I thought what I'd try is something a bit heavier. So I've got a bit of sand and gravel, so I'm going to put that in and see how it gets on with sucking up something that's a bit heavier and wet. So as I said, I filled it up with wet sand and gravel. Quite a heavy mixer. Damp, not wet, but we'll give that a go and see how that works. Once again, absolutely no bother at all. Sucked it straight out, no problem at all, didn't think it would have. So, saying that, let's just sum up of what we got left to say. So what are my first views after having a look at the Panther? Well, it's an absolutely awesome little machine. I had no problem with all those little tests that I put up for it. I know they're not real gutters, but yeah, it gives you a bit of an idea. It's absolutely solid build, really good quality. That 51mm cyclonic inlet, that is awesome. Such a big opening there. You're lucky to get anything stuck in there rather than lucky not to get it stuck in there. It'll take anything, so don't get your GoPro too close because it'll even suck that up. The trolley that it's on, absolutely solid, really good quality. How could you improve it? Maybe turn the on off light button into green rather than red. That's the only thing I can think of. So who would be interested in having a Panther? Well, if you're just getting started out in gutter cleaning, maybe the Panther would be for you. If you've got a small van and you haven't got room for a Predator, maybe the Panther would be for you then. If you're doing lots of big industrial jobs, 4 stories, that sort of thing, it's not going to be big enough. But for a little domestic gutter vac, 2-3 stories, I don't think you're going to have any problems at all. Pair it up with a nice set of carbon fibre or aluminium poles, you're going to have a really good gutter vac there, and you're not going to be disappointed with it at all. So I'm looking forward to taking it out and using it on some proper jobs. I think I've got a couple lined up this week, so I'm going to take that along and use that, see how we get on, and we'll see how it brings, what the future brings for it, see how good it is. So I hope you enjoyed the quick look at the Panther. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel and take a look at my gutter vacuum playlist. So thanks for watching, bye for now.